Welcome to Your Vote Counts, a candidate forum sponsored by Capital Community TV and the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk counties. My name is Janet Adkins, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, a nonpartisan political organization that works to educate our members and the public about government issues. We do not support or oppose candidates, but provide a forum for them to become known to our communities. In this program, we are hosting the candidates for Polk County Commissioner, position number 3. They are Mike Ainsworth and Brian Werner. Our format for today's forum is as follows. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to give an opening statement outlining his top 3 priorities if elected. Following that, candidates will alternate answering questions prepared by League members on current issues. Candidates will be given 1.5 minutes for each response. The candidates were not given the questions ahead of time. At the end, the candidates will each have 2 minutes to close and state the legacy he would like to leave if elected to this office. Prior to this taping, we drew for speaking order, and we will begin with Mr. Ainsworth for his opening remarks.
Hi, my name's Mike Ainsworth. You know, I've lived in Polk County almost my entire life. I've been married for 39 years to my wife, Deanne, my high school sweetheart. We have 2 growing children and 3 grandchildren. I've graduated from Central High School in Monmouth and Independence, and I received a bachelor's degree from Western Oregon University. My previous employment before I became commissioner was I was a production supervisor for Willamette Industries and warehouser in their Dallas facility. You know, I'm a guy who likes to be involved in the community, and some of my involvements that I've been involved with in the community of Polk County. I've been a mentor at Dallas High School. I'm a volunteer with the Salvation Army. I love all the work that the Salvation Army does in our community. I'm a foundation board member for the Dallas Retirement Center. I'm a volunteer for Interfaith Hospitality, who deals with homeless folks in our West Salem area. I'm a board member of the Gate Youth Association. What we do at the Gate Youth Association is we help provide tutoring after school for Central High School students and also provide a meal on Thursday. My wife and I are huge supporters of Family Building Blocks and Gracie's Place on Edgewater in West Salem. I volunteer also with the YMCA in the Monmouth Independence area, and I happen to be their MC and auctioneer for their December auction and fundraiser. Also in West Salem, I belong to the Sanction Court of the county, and what we do with Sanction Court is we deal with juveniles and we make sure that they're held accountable and there are consequences for them when they break the law. I also belong to Striking Out Meth in Polk and Marion counties. You know, I've maintained an open door policy, and that's really one of my top priorities. To be able for anyone in Polk County, any of the residents, to be able to come in and sit down and talk to me about anything that they're concerned about in Polk County. I'm proud of the fact that that I personally have established a satellite office in West Salem to help be closer to the people of West Salem. Another thing that I'm proud of at the county, and it's a huge priority, is that we have expanded our mental health clinic to West Salem. The West Salem Mental Health Clinic has helped capture over $650,000 that was going across the river to help provide services for Polk County residents. Also, being concerned about the budget crisis that we have in the county, since I've taken office, I have declined to take the county health insurance, which has saved the county about $13,000. I'm Polk County Commissioner Mike Ainsworth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Werner, your opening remarks.
My name is Brian Werner, a West Salem resident. I'm a proven executive with more than 20 years of experience in leadership, management, and implementation of sophisticated business development projects. I have a bachelor's degree in social and criminal justice, a minor in business administration, and a specialization in homeland security from Ashford University. I'm currently enrolled in an MBA program. I've worked as a vice president of development and general manager. I've also been a chairman of a development committee. My responsibilities have included infrastructure, system development, contract negotiations, budgeting, and fiscal management. I'm a member of the West Salem Foursquare Church. I've been involved in Polk County as a volunteer for the West Salem Little League Board of Directors, Boy Scouts of America with my son, previous sponsor for the Boys and Girls Club teams, feeding the homeless, and consulted during the Polk County jail construction. I know what Polk County needs, and that solution is Brian Werner. Securing our future, taking action, and getting results starts by creating and transparency and building trust. Choose a county commissioner who is aggressive and oriented. I want to make changes for the betterment of the people and for the future of Polk County. Simply we, the hardworking citizens of Polk County, cannot take action unless there is a new voice. Us, Brian Werner, serving you, the citizens of Polk County. I need your vote for this. As a team with my fellow commissioners, I will work on sound financial solutions and to restore services to responsible levels. I'm a leader who can and will make changes. I have more than 20 years of experience in economic development, business development, and planning and implementing short-term and long-term strategic plans. I have a business background and business sense of leadership. I'll work with other commissioners on the following priorities: education that leads to jobs, business development, and economic development with infrastructure. Additionally, I would like to work on job creation, implementing a solution to the budget crisis, working on county infrastructure, and we'll work on the West Salem Bridge project. This is solving problems with real solutions. To do this, Polk County needs a true professional.
And now for the first question, and to Mr. Werner first. What are your priorities given the budget shortfall, and what budget changes would you make?
I believe with the fiscal responsibility that I've had in the past, with budgets the size, 2-3 times the size of Polk County, I would look at what are services that we need now to improve and to enhance, and then I would look at the overall structure of the county, and is there any extra waste in that budget that could be trimmed out to move money around to improve services. And to have that responsibility, looking at my experience, I would look at county infrastructure, economic development, and business development. And to work on that budget crisis, I would look at solutions that bring in additional revenue. When you work on economic and business development, that brings in revenue to the county. It's not just cutting the budget, and it's not just raising taxes to increase the budget. It's about being fiscally responsible.
Thank you. And Mr. Ainsworth?
The question?
What are your priorities given the budget shortfall, and what budget changes would you make?
Well, as we continue to move forward, the county has been subsidized for a number of years with timber payments. And as we see the budget decline, these are difficult times. The sheriff has had to make some very difficult decisions on when he's going to have patrol. Since I've been in office, we have combined some managers. Marty Silbernagel, who used to just be in charge of parole and probation, is now in charge of parole and probation and juvenile. That's always been one of the problems that people feel about with government, is that we have too many managers and not enough folks working on the ground. So we've done that. Also, another one is with our mental health clinic over here in West Salem, we have been able to capture $650,000 to $700,000 that comes back into the county to help provide services for the folks in a mental health crisis. And I believe that we've done a good job as we move forward. These are difficult times. I don't have all the answers, and I'll be very honest with you. We're much like a number of counties. We are looking to rent some bed space at the jail from Columbia County because they're going to close their jail down. So we're going to get some more income, about $350,000, which will help the sheriff as we move forward.
Thank you. So for the second question, we'll start with Mr. Ainsworth. Can you elaborate on the changes you'd see in meeting the mental health needs of the county?
Well, as more and more people come back to the county, there gets to be more of a demand on the services at Polk County Mental Health. And part of the reason that we've built this clinic over here in West Salem is to make sure that we're taking care of all of our citizens in Polk County. You know, it's not right that our citizens were going across the river to Marion County to have services provided, which we should have been providing at Polk County. This group has continued to get larger and larger, and as more folks come out of the state hospital and have issues with mental health, the demand just continues to grow. We actually have started to put mental health counselors in the high schools at the county to help them get these kids working in the right direction as we move forward. This is a huge dilemma for not only Polk County, but for the entire state. And as we move forward, I am confident of the folks that we have in Polk County that they will provide wonderful service for these folks in Polk County.
Mr. Werner, what changes, can you elaborate on changes you'd see in meeting the mental health needs of the county?
Well, mental health is an important issue. Mental health deals with the stability of a person, and it's important to meet the needs of everybody. The first thing I would do is, if you look at Polk County mental health, there's a facility in Dallas, Oregon, and there's a facility in West Salem. I talk to many residents and they're not aware that there's a facility in West Salem. I would advertise that. I would advertise that there's a facility available, and I would also look at educating. How do you educate youth? And educating youth and building a strong youth foundation through mental health secures our future. And I think it's important that county health is also available at odd hours. I understand that people have to work 8 to 5, but when you can offer mental health around the clock, or on weekends and additional appointments in the evenings, and provide services that are available to people around the clock, that's an important need. Additionally, what I'd like to point out is when you look at mental health, it's not a negative situation. It's got to be a positive. And I think citizens using Polk County mental health is a great avenue. The problem with that is Polk County mental health only accepts the Oregon health plans. So people who use that service have to have the Oregon health plan unless you pay for it out of your pocket. And I would change that.
Thank you. So we'll start that third question with you, Mr. Werner. How do you see that infrastructure needs can be met?
Infrastructure need is very important. Infrastructure needs need to be met obviously for the citizens, but also for businesses and future businesses. When you get into economic development, you're talking about human capital. When you get into business development, you're talking about existing industry, and you're talking about bringing in new industry. And infrastructure has everything to do with internet, water, sewer, telecommunications, and one thing is high-speed internet, and making sure that's accessible by all the residents and citizens of Polk County. And to meet that need, you have to have revenue streams that you can use to create that infrastructure, and then use that infrastructure to bring in other businesses. Other businesses will bring in revenue to the county.
And Mr. Ainsworth, how do you see that infrastructure needs can be met?
Well, the infrastructure needs in Polk County, part of it is we need to have, number one, you need to have quality roads so that you're able to come back and forth and haul your products. One of the things that we've really focused on the last few years at the county is water needs for the future. We've just got a contract with the Dare Village down towards Corvallis to have water rights and first right of refusal for the next 50 years. And as the county expands and the population grows, water is going to be of a premium. And so I'm very happy with the work that we've done at the county. Austin McGuigan, our Community Development Director, has been a key player in this water purchase. And also, as we move forward in different types of business, much like Brian said, business brings in more folks, and the infrastructure has to be here first for them to be able to come here. An example of that is in Monmouth and Independence with their MyNet, their high-speed internet, which has been a huge plus for the Monmouth Independence area. And probably the expansion of that community-wide, or county-wide I should say, would be a real key as we move forward.
Thank you. And Mr. Ainsworth, how would you propose to meet the safety needs of the county with reduced staff?
Well, what we've tried to do, and I talked about it just a little bit earlier, we're going to rent some bed space to Columbia County because they're going to close their jail down. So we're going to maybe contract for 10 bed spaces, and that's about a $300,000 addition to our Polk County budget. We're looking at, right now, I talked to Brian Boquist earlier in the week, and he, along with District Attorney Felton, are out talking to the Grand Round Tribe to see if we can get some funding for a district attorney and also a secretary, a legal secretary up in the district attorney's office, because as we've had to cut the budget, Aaron has lost a prosecutor, and as we move forward, we need to prosecute all the crimes. We want to make sure this is still a wonderful place to live, and if we're not able to prosecute the crimes, then our quality of life is going to deteriorate a little bit. And so that is a huge concern. Bob has got his crew back to, going to be here in a couple more weeks, back to 20-hour shifts. When the general fund budget is 70% public safety and we're losing about $700,000 or $800,000 a year, those cuts are going to still continue to be made unless something happens.
Thank you. And Mr. Werner, how would you propose to meet the safety needs of the county with reduced staff?
To start with my answer, to be honest, this question gets asked a lot, but I don't hear any final solutions or resolution. So when you ask the question, what can you do with the budget for public safety concerns? There's different examples that law enforcement agencies have used throughout the United States. I'll give you an example. There's a county in Colorado where they took all of the city law enforcement agencies and combined them into one law enforcement agency and put them underneath the county sheriff. Now, I'm not saying this would be feasible for Polk County. I know there's several police departments inside of each city limits, but you can combine them, and you can combine the positions, and you can have more coverage. The other thing you can do is, as you bring in revenue from your economic and business development, you can use a portion of those funds to bring in additional law enforcement. The other thing you can do is you can apply for grants to the federal government and bring in those dollars and then match dollar for dollar with those grants to establish a secure neighborhood, a secure county, which we have public safety concerns right now. The current commissioners talk about the budget and the safety concerns, but nobody's addressed it.
Thanks. Mr. Werner, what are some ways that you see to improve public interest and participation in county government?
I think there's a huge need to get people involved in county government. I think it's important that you create transparency, first of all. And if you're going to have board meetings, put the agenda and the full minutes posted on your site, not just an overview. You got to create transparency. You got to be precise with a clear message. And that's to also have what's called one voice. One voice means where you get everyone together and you create, what is our voice? What are we working towards? And when you create one voice and you go out and you deliver the same message, not three different messages, but one message, everybody hears the same thing. And so how would I go out and educate the population? I would go out and I'd work with citizens. You create neighborhood associations and you work closely with them. You work on law enforcement issues and you bring your ideas to the public. When you're working on your business plan, you look at a master development plan. And master development plans are long-range plans that deal with anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 years. And when you're working on those long-term plans, you bring that to the community. You don't vote on it and then bring it to the community. So I would work on educating, working with, and being transparent.
Okay. Mr. Ainsworth, what are some ways you see to improve public interest and participation in county government?
Well, I'm a community guy, so I'm out and about. I'm out and about in the entire community, whether it's in West Salem, Monmouth, Independence, Dallas. You have to be engaged with the citizens, okay? You can't wait in your office and wait for them to come to you. You have to be out amongst them because you hear their concerns, whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's at the Chamber of Commerce that you belong to, anything that is going on in your community or the county as far as that goes, you have to be engaged with folks. Ask them what they think we need at the county. Get them engaged, make sure that you're out in the county as much as you can be, and not just sit behind a desk, because the job of county commissioner is not just for people to come to you, it's for you to be out amongst them. And my community involvement is a perfect example of that, because I hear a lot of concerns as I go to all these different organizations, and I think that's the key. I think it's the key for anyone in public service to be out amongst the folks and be engaged, because I think being engaged, and much like Brian said, the transparency part is very rewarding for these folks in their community.
Thank you. And this may be our last question. How would you deal with issues that involve more than Polk County, such as traffic on the bridge in Salem, crime, fire, waste disposal, etc.?
Well, the traffic in West Salem is a concern. You know, we've been engaged with the river crossing. We've had a number of meetings. I think Salem's finally got it figured out. Also, you know, for garbage and everything else, if we had a garbage dump in Polk County, it's a huge revenue boost. I believe that Benton County gets about $3 million a year on their Cooper Coffin Butte landfill. Not saying that we need to do that, but if you look at garbage and stuff, fire, we're not so, you know, we are not involved in fire departments at the county. Those are all city issues. So as we move forward, you know, in Monmouth and Independence, the fire departments combined, and that's been a great cost savings for Monmouth and Independence. But for the county, we really don't deal with fire service.
And Mr. Werner, what about the issues that involve more than Polk County? Traffic on the bridge in Salem, crime, fire, waste disposal?
I believe there's 3 direct ways to interact with other county industries. The first thing is in Polk County, if we don't have availability to something and the other county does, or if it's vice versa, we can outsource with counties. We can put together resources, which would be the second step. Put your resources together, work together to save money. We got to remember that we serve the citizens. And even if it's not in our county, we're still serving people. And those people in Oregon want to see government working together. So if we outsource, where feasible, where it makes sense to save money, to combine resources. And the next big thing is the West Salem Bridge. I understand people have this discussion, but what's actually being done about it? There's a need for a West Salem Bridge. There could be a need for an expansion of 99. You have to be able to bring in traffic, but also have traffic moving. And there is a cost associated with that bridge and with infrastructure with roads. But if you don't do anything now, it's just going to keep getting more and more expensive. So I think it's imperative for us to bring in a West Salem Bridge.
Thank you both. That's all the time we have for questions. The candidates may now make their closing remarks. Mr. Werner, would you begin with your closing remarks?
My legacy is this. My positive solution ideas. As your strong problem-solving commissioner, I plan to work with my peers to implement short and long-term strategic plans. I will also work with the sheriff to increase patrols and strengthen our system of public safety. More importantly, I will spearhead efforts to actually implement business development plans, champion infrastructure projects, create the trust that we need in our county to increase Polk County revenue. Polk County doesn't need another 4 years of job cuts and declining county services. Be a sponsor of good government. Good government comes with transparency. The County Commissioner is an extremely unique and honored position. It interacts with government agencies, business, and citizens. Therefore, commissioners must always remember that the very foundation they have is to believe and to live by honesty, integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. To some, these are vague words. This is vague words, but to commissioners, they must be, deal with a dynamic meaning. Failure to do so will demean the reputation of the county, and there should be commissioner values. I believe in values that demonstrate that the position stands for quality in everything we do, continuing to look for opportunities to strengthen our community, to provide opportunities for others, to create a fun and fulfilling work environment, and recognize county service is essential to everyone's success. And that also comes to being a continued respectful member of our community. I have these values and will strive to complete that list.
Thank you. Mr. Ainsworth, your closing remarks.
Well, as we wrap things up today, I still believe that Polk County is a great place to live, to raise a family, to own a business. I have a vested interest. My family lives here. My mother's still alive. She lives in Monmouth. My mother-in-law in Independence. I have nieces and nephews. It's key that we continue to keep the great quality of life here in Polk County. You know, I want people to say that Commissioner Ainsworth has been very accessible. That's a top priority of mine. And that he represents all the people of Polk County. My goal has always been to be out in the community and being engaged and involved with all citizens of Polk County. And so that I can get a better feel of what is really going on in our county. I want to know that people that I've come into contact with would say that he's always has a very positive attitude. Anyone can be negative, but it takes real effort to be positive. I love to be positive. I always look to the bright side of things. And then I've maintained my integrity in any dealings that I've had in Polk County. And I've been willing to work at the ground level to help solve problems in Polk County. You know, I really don't have an agenda. And if I did have an agenda, I think it would be to focus on the people of Polk County and to know a better way to serve them. You know, my most important legacy is not about politics, though. It's about being a great husband and being a great father and a great grandfather. That's really the things that are very important to me as I move forward. You know, I'm Polk County Commissioner Mike Ainsworth, and I really would appreciate your vote on May the 20th. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
And I'd like to thank both candidates for their time today and interest in public service. And thank you, our audience, for watching this candidate forum for Polk County Commissioner Position 3. We hope you'll watch our other candidate forums. You can see the CCTV website for airing times. These forums are a public service to voters as a way to become more acquainted with the candidates who hope to lead our city, county, and state government in the coming years. The county will be mailing out ballots about May 1st, and you must mail them back or drop them off at a ballot drop site so that they are received by the county May 20th. We urge you to exercise your right to vote. This is Janet Adkins for the League of Women Voters and CCTV. Thank you for watching, and your vote counts.